Boys. Hello, hello. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. The time 7:40 p.m. And I've got a wonderful story for you boys. Story that happened to me today at work, and it'll tie into the title perfectly. So let's get into this shit. So, today at work, I was processing applications, answering the phone when a gentleman walks in. What's up, Voodoo? Good to see we got a viewer in the first few minutes. That's good. So I was just doing busy work, and somebody walks in. Yeah, ends up being a tour. Somebody that was here to tour apartments. So the first thing I noticed about this person, it was this guy. I'll just give you a quick rundown. Middle Eastern guy, super thick accent, and he had to be in his 60s or so. All right. And he walks in. The first thing I noticed about him is he gave me a very genuine greeting. Yeah, this guy, it wouldn't have surprised me if this guy was a salesperson. And you'll love to hear what he actually did for work, what I found out later in the tour. But it wouldn't have surprised me if this guy told me he was like a account executive or something, because he just had really good people skills. Very warm, very genuine person, could make great eye contact, gave me a firm handshake when I introduced myself. So, but aside from that, that was my first impression. But aside from that, I didn't notice anything else about the guy. Yeah, I was just like, oh, it's another tour. Yeah. So I usher him into the office. I say, oh, I'll be right with you. I finish up on whatever email I was writing, and then I walk over into the office to greet him. So this is when I officially met him and I shook his hand and stuff, right? So I walk in, he stands up, I extend my hand. Hey, I'm Ephraim. Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm going to be showing you around the community today. And he introduces himself. That's why I say very firm handshake, good eye contact. Yeah. And we sit down, and I just start doing my job, right? Start asking questions about what he's looking for, what kind of apartment, etc. And so let's fast forward a bit. I skipped a bit. So the main part of this story happens right here. All right. So right when we meet each other, we sit down, I start gathering information, and then I say, all right, so before we can go out on tour, I have to scan your ID or your passport. That's a rule that we have at the company I work at, right? So anybody that goes on tour, we have to scan their ID. So the guy pulls out his ID, yeah, California state ID, hands it over to me. I place it on our table, and I hover the iPad over it with the little app we use to scan IDs, right? So I'm hovering over the front. First, it scans the front. And I'll get to your comment soon, Voodoo. Let me get through this story, right? So what I notice is, as I'm scanning the ID and I'm looking at the iPad, it's a camera, right? So I'm seeing the ID. I notice that the height says 5'1" on it. Yeah. On this guy's license, it says 5'1". And I, in the back of my head, right? Because in the moment, this is all happening very quickly. I'm talking, being cordial, being professional with the guy. But I have to imagine there was like a split second, if he was looking at me closely, where he would have seen just this look of absolute disbelief on my face, because I looked at the iPad and his height was listed as 5'1". And I could not for the life of me remember this guy walking in and being 5'1". And I remember I told you he stood up when I shook his hand and we introduced ourselves. So I was what, less than 3 feet away from the guy, literally looking at him, and it did not register, did not connect in my head whatsoever that this guy was 5'1". And of course, it's pretty noticeable. Like 5'1" is an abnormally noticeable height for a guy, at least in the United States and California, etc. Not bagging on you if you're 5'1", no hate. I feel for you. I'm just saying it how it is, right? You see a person, you see a guy that's 5'1", and it's like, oh shit, that guy's pretty short, right? Typically, all right. So let's get back into scene, right? So I'm hovering over the guy's ID, and I just cannot believe that he's 5'1". I'm start racking my brain. I'm like, wait, the guy walked in. I didn't notice he was abnormally little. I shook the guy's hand. I don't remember him being short. And and the confirmation that he was 5'1" is that before we went on tour, we stand up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get the car. Let's pull it around, and then we can get in. Blah blah blah. And the guy stands up, and I'm looking down at him, and I'm like, oh no, yeah, this guy's 5'1". Yeah. After I had actually like visibly seen his ID, and then I'm actually thinking about it, I stand up, I look, I'm like, no, yeah, this guy's 5'1". This guy's tiny. And but so now let's talk about why I could not believe this. And this has to do with the title of this live stream. The reason I couldn't believe it is because typically when I'm around guys that, let's say, got the short end of the stick physically, so in this case, height would be it, or let's say got the short end of the stick visually, let's say they're just butt ugly, just very, very ugly. Whenever I'm around these kind of guys, where as a population we can look and go, all right, yeah, like he has it harder than most of us for sure, right? And I'm talking about like extreme end of the spectrum, i.e., 5'1" in a society where average height is 5'9", for example, right? So extreme end of the spectrum. Whenever I'm around guys like this, 99 out of 100 times, I'm used to this guy. Just, I expect that this guy has low self-esteem. I'm used to this guy having a poor self-image, low confidence. Usually he doesn't talk very loud. Usually he doesn't make very good eye contact. Usually he doesn't smile much. That's what I'm used to when I see these outliers, when I see them in real life, right? I go, I see, I'm not thinking this deep about it, but I'm, for the purpose of this live stream, when I see these guys out in public, I'm used to them not being very confident, very social, very capable, socially capable, very, very charismatic. It's rare that this guy is the life of the party or the life of the center of attention, unless he's like being the butt of the joke. I can think of like a short guy at a party, partying on a, standing up on a table and everybody loves him. But the whole bit is that he's short and that's why everybody loves him. That kind of thing, right? That's what I'm used to as far as, a person that walks in and they're 5'1". And this guy he could not have been further from this description that I just gave, right? Like I told you, the first thing I noticed about the guy when he walked into the leasing office is that he was so warm and genuine in his communication, that he just gave me such a genuine smile and greeting. And it seemed like he was actually happy to meet me, right? And, these kind of people, they put me at ease. They make me feel, it makes me feel mutual, right? Like, like when I'm in front of somebody that's socially awkward, I feel like I got to carry the whole burden of the conversation. I have to tone down my own energy, my own personality, so I can meet them where they're at, right? I have to pretend to be more bland and etc. But I meet somebody that's on my level, or in this case, I would say the guy's people skills were higher than mine, simply because of how experienced he was and how warm he was. And, there's just this energy that certain people have. And what was I saying there? Oh, yeah. I just could not believe that this was the guy who had 5'1" listed on his driver's license. Yeah. And he was, so we go on the tour, right? And I'm just getting to know the guy. And this is the best part, right? He's telling me about his life, about how many people are going to be living in this 2-bedroom apartment or this 3-bedroom he's looking at, whatever. And he goes, he wasn't going to have all of his kids living in it, but at some point in the conversation, he tells me that he has 6 children. Yeah. So this is a guy in his 60s or so, has 6 children, right? And that catches me off guard. I'm like, wow, 6 children. That's wow, man. But then the next thought I have right in my own brain is, wait a second, this guy's 5'1" and he has 6 children. And we got 100 million people on the internet complaining that if they're not fucking 6'1" or 6'3" or whatever this threshold seems to be, that they're hopeless. Their dating life is hopeless. They're never going to get laid. They're never going to find a girlfriend. They're never going to find a wife. They're going to die alone, right? We've got hundreds of millions of people commenting on TikToks and YouTube shorts saying, oh, I'm 5'6", so it's over for me. Oh, I'm 5'10" instead of 6'2", so it's over for me. And this guy's 5'1" and having 6 children, right? And he's got a wife, right? So I'm just thinking, what is the excuse now? What could these guys possibly give me as an excuse now? Yeah, this guy's a very established. And the best part of the live stream, in my opinion, right? I'm assuming, based on how good this guy is at communicating and how confident he is in himself, and just how at peace he is with himself, which you would imagine a fucking 60-year-old, you get to 60 years, hopefully you've accepted yourself by then, right? God damn. But I was just so astounded at how composed he was, etc., that I assumed when I asked him what he did for work, he would say, oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I'm a investment banker. Oh, I'm in finance. Oh, I'm an account executive. Oh, I'm in sales. And the guy tells me I'm a custodian. And that was just, of course, in the moment I go, oh, nice. Wow, nice. What, you work at a local spot, or what do you do? A big complex, right? I'm just being a nice person. I guess I'm being friendly, right? But in my head, I'm going, okay, what the fuck, right? This guy's a janitor. This guy's a custodian. This guy's a 5'1" custodian with 6 children and a wife. And we got a whole generation of guys, a couple generations of guys that are complaining about their height stopping them from ever finding a date, ever finding love. But they probably have it better than this guy, right? I mean, what fucking percentage of the population are men are 5'1" in the United States? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, unless you're this guy's height, please tell me what the problem. Please tell me what your issue is. What is your roadblock? What's stopping you? Yeah, because clearly it's not your height. Yeah. This guy can find a girl that likes him enough to marry him and then give him 6 children. And you're telling me, oh, I can't get a date because of my height. Oh, I'm 5'7", so I can never find love. So, I mean, I just love this story. I'm going to be reusing this exact story for, I'm sure, months and years to come. Yeah. Anytime a guy tells me, oh, Ephraim, I'm 5'5", what should I do? Well, what about my guy that I toured that's 5'1"? What do you have to say about this man? Yeah. And so let's rewind back a little bit. So I said that, yeah, I'm used to people that, let's say, are abnormally short, men that are abnormally short. I'm typically used to these guys not having that much charisma, not having that much confidence, not being as secure in themselves, right? People call it short man syndrome, little man syndrome. Fucked up term, of course, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if they feel wronged, if they feel as though the universe, God, whoever they believe in, has wronged them since birth, then I'm just oftentimes there is this cynicism to their personality. Yeah, there's these passive aggressive undertones. There's this dissatisfaction in their communication and in the way that they move through the world. Literally, the way that they walk. Oftentimes, maybe their head will be down, or it's not up, and so they're standing straight. And I'm not trying to blanket statement all these fucking guys. I mean, Jesus, there's plenty of 5'1" guys that probably have a better dating life than me. Seriously, but the point is, what I'm used to is that, right? That is what I'm used to. Is if the guy is this short, I'm used to, it goes hand in hand with low self-esteem, with low self-confidence. And why is that the case, right? We can extrapolate a bit. Well, the world has probably treated him a bit differently than Mr. 6'3" Giga Chad, right? Women have probably treated him a bit differently than Mr. 6'3" Giga Chad. So he's been dealt a harder hand, a more difficult hand. And so I am used to seeing that guy having already succumbed to his unfortunate hand, right? I'm used to seeing him already have succumbed to his circumstances and going, I'm 5'1", so fuck dating, fuck the world, fuck life. I'm just gonna sit on Reddit all day and talk about how women only want this and that, right? That is what I associate with somebody that's abnormally short. Not a fucking guy with 6 children and a wife and an amazing personality and just so much love for the world. And then all this to finally reveal that he's a custodian. Yeah. A job that some of you guys wouldn't even consider working because your pride is too big. Yeah. Some of you guys wouldn't even consider working a custodian if it came down to it, because you're like, what are society going to think of me? What are my friends going to think of me? And this guy has been doing it. He tells me he's been doing this shit all his life. Yeah. Ever since he came to the States, he's been a custodian with 6 children and a wife. So yeah, I'm used to these guys typically having the lower self-esteem. So the reason that I made this live stream and the reason why I titled it "So What You're 5'1" is just because you've been dealt a more difficult hand. And we can blanket statement this title for any guy that feels as though he's been wronged physically or he's been wronged facially, blah, 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 all these excuses, right? Who gives a fuck? It only matters to people if it matters to you. Yeah. If you're going to make a big deal out of the fact that you're abnormally short, that you're abnormally ugly, etc., then other people are going to also. But if you just completely own it, right? Flaws and all. That's what I talk about. I walk over, I haven't done my hair. I walk over, I'm wearing the most bummy clothes, no socks. I didn't brush my teeth yet. I just walk over, flaws and all. I just walk over. I'm 5'9". Guys used to tell me you got to be the internet used to tell me that you got to be 6'2" to get a girlfriend. And I'm 5'9". That's what I'm saying. Flaws and all, whatever you want to call that. Flaws and fucking all. You walk over anyways. So this is what I mean. It doesn't matter. So what, the guy is 5'1". So what, the guy's a custodian. Yeah. Some guys would use that as the excuse to why they couldn't walk over to the girl. But what if she figures out that I'm a custodian? Bro, you can own anything. You can literally own anything. You can own the fact that you're the fucking custodian. You walk over, well, what do you do for work? Oh, I am the most rock star fucking janitor you've ever met. I swing, I can clean 3 I don't know what the fuck you'd say. You would say something fun with it. Yeah. I'm the most rock star janitor. Actually, maybe you make a joke about it. Actually, I won 7 janitor of the year awards, blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking know. But the point is, you can own anything. Yeah, you could figure out a way to own being a custodian. I imagine that if I got laid off of my job now and I had to resort to being a custodian, I could still get dates lined up. Yeah, I wouldn't be, oh, because I'm a custodian I can't get the date. Oh, because I'm 5'1" I can't get the date. This is what I mean, man. You are putting the obstacles in front of you, and to be fair, the internet put them in front of you first. But now it's you. Now that I've pulled the curtain from behind your, or from in front of your eyes, now that you know what the truth is, now that I'm fucking spitting the truth to you every goddamn live stream, you get to decide whether or not you're going to continue to use these fabricated roadblocks. And you're the best part is you are putting the roadblocks in your way. You're convinced, right? You are convinced that the roadblocks have been in the way since birth and you can't do anything about them. But I'm here telling you that you're the one putting the roadblocks there. Yeah. Your subconscious is literally picking up the fucking the bricks and building the wall right in front of you, right? And then you wake up and you go, oh no, there's a wall in front of me. Nah, you're the one building it. You're the one saying, oh, because I'm too short, oh, because I'm too poor, oh, because I haven't finished college yet, oh, because I haven't gotten to this body fat percentage, this muscle mass index, this bench press 1 rep max. You are the one putting all of these obstacles in the way. Yeah. And the more content you consume, the larger your obstacle wall becomes. The more content you consume where the guy's telling you you need to be looks maxed before you can ever get a girlfriend, you need to be Mr. Body maxed before you can ever get the girlfriend. Every single time you watch one of these videos, you are confirming to your already false belief that, oh yeah, I do need to be a little more looks maxed. Oh yeah, this guy has bigger biceps. That's probably why he got the date. So I got to be a little more body maxed. What the fuck? In shape, right? Where you just want to, god damn, man. You are the one that is introducing these barriers into your own life. And I'm here telling you that I can say that with certainty because I used to be that guy too, right? It's the best. That's why my content is always going to appeal to a certain crowd. It's because I can relate to certain guys. Yeah. Some guys literally they grew up Mr. 6'3" Giga Chad since birth. Everybody loved them. They can't relate to you and I, right? They're like, fuck are these incels talking about having trouble with women? Women have been loving me since I was 4. Some guys literally cannot relate to this content. A very, to be fair, a very slim selection of guys. But most of us lived a life more or less like me so far, at least for the first 22 years of my life, where I was not getting success with girls. And I would continue to be putting roadblocks in the way. Why was I actually doing this? Well, because I didn't want to admit to myself and my friends in the world that I didn't get women. That was embarrassing, right? You don't want to be the guy that can't get laid. That nobody likes that guy. Your coworkers would laugh at you, and your friends think you're lame, and girls don't like you, and they gossip. Oh, this guy doesn't get laid. Don't talk to that. Nobody wants to be that person, right? So I would lie to myself, and I would say, well, to my friends, I'll pretend like I'm this player that gets the girls, and my family, they'll ask me and I'll say, yeah, I got a couple girlfriends, blah, blah, blah. But you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to being alone in my room, what would I actually do? I would go, oh, I'm just not tall enough. That's all. That's why I'm not getting the girls. Oh, I don't have enough money yet. They say you grind till you're 30 and then I'll have $1 million and then I'll go after the girl, right? I was convincing myself of all of this all along. And then I meet Christian and he just puts a sledgehammer to all this shit. And then I go, oh, well, I guess you took all my excuses away now, right? So what am I going to say? And so I'm just one of the few guys that just own the fact that he was able to remove all the excuses, right? Most guys, I've already removed all of your excuses, but you're still pretending. You're still trying to introduce them, right? I've removed all of your excuses. And then you come to me with like, okay, but like, what percentage should I expect of girls to like me when I walk over to them? And I'm like, dude, what is that question going to even solve for you? And then you go, yeah, good point. All right, next question, Ephraim. What percentage of rejection would you say leads to, and they're coming back with more statistics. This is your way of introducing, oh, I'm too short. This is another version of that excuse, right? Oh, what are the statistics? What are the variables? This and that. That's your way of saying, oh, I'm too short. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, I'm too poor, which is your actual way of saying, oh, I'm too scared to walk over to the girl. Oh, I'm too scared of what people are going to think of me. Oh, I'm too scared of how this could potentially impact my career. People think I'm creepy and then they fucking out me on LinkedIn. Yeah, whatever you're thinking. Oh my God, what the police, what are they going to think when I'm walking over to the girl? Meanwhile, I've got 2 fucking videos on my channel of walking over to the girl in front of a police squad car, security guards. And then I started talking shit while I was walking away and the security guards are walking in front of me. I'm going, dude, he just heard me. He doesn't even care. He just fucking heard me say security guard. He doesn't even care. Then the security guard looks back, stares at the guy that just approached the girl and keeps fucking walking. And you're here telling me, what are the security guards going to do? This is what I'm saying, man. These are all excuses. These are all your own manufactured obstacles. Hey. So that was my story, boys. Yeah, what a tour, man. I texted it myself immediately. I was like, this is my live stream topic for for sure. I already knew because yeah, I mean, I couldn't even believe it, right? I'm looking at this guy's ID and I'm like, there's no way. Yeah. So, anyways, I hope you boys enjoyed. I enjoy making these, and I'll make another live stream whenever I have something else interesting to share. But until then, I don't see any questions in the comments. So until then, oh, hold up. It's my bad. I didn't read some of your comments. Hold on, hold on. Voodoo says, not much, bro. I just want to say that I really enjoy your content. Thank you. It has changed my dating life. Oh, thank you. I have no idea where I'd be without you. Thank you, bro. Oh, fuck, man. I wish you are you still in the chat, dude? My bad. I would have read that way earlier if I knew it was praise. Damn, thank you, man. That really feels good. That's the first time anyone's saying that I've changed their dating life and they have no idea where they'd be without me. Yeah, people thanked me, but that is like, thank you for real. I really appreciate that, man. Not many people express that. I always wonder. I'm like, dude, is this working? Like, are people applying my content and is it working? I always wonder that shit because nobody ever tells me. So thank you, man. D1, what up? What up? I appreciate you joining, man. Good to see you as always. Oh, he's still here. Voodoo. Thank you for that comment. Seriously, man. Keep us updated, dude. Keep us updated on your journey. Yeah, we created this whole underground community just for this, just for fucking camaraderie. Yeah, just for brotherhood. So we could all have each other's backs in this grind of a life. Yeah, this hero's journey of a life. This is the safe space for guys that go after what they want. I like that, huh? Yeah, everybody else has a fucking safe space away from harm and danger. This is the safe space for running, sprinting full speed towards danger. Huh? This is the safe space for walking towards your fear when everybody else is telling you to do the opposite. Now, this is where you're encouraged to do the abnormal. So, yeah, it feels really good to be a part of this, man. You say, oh, you're already in the Skool community. Oh, fuck yeah. I'm not even sure which guy you are then, dude. You gotta let me know. Your profile's Biggie Smalls. Anyways, D1, if you watch it back, I think you'll enjoy it. It's to summarize it, a guy walked into the leasing office today and he was 5'1", but I didn't even know he was 5'1" until I looked at his ID. And the entire time I was standing next to the guy, I thought he was my height until I looked at his ID and it said 5'1", and then I stood up again and I was like, oh no, this guy's really 5'1". And the whole message was the reason I had no idea that he was abnormally short is because he didn't behave in a manner that typically these guys behave. Typically, when I see guys that have been dealt a more difficult hand, short, ugly, too fat, whatever, typically these guys have low self-esteem, low self-image, low confidence, not very great people skills, not very great people that's funny, people persons. And this guy was the exact opposite. This guy broke the narrative. He was, I'd say, like, if he was doing my job, he would blow me out of the water. I think he'd be a way better salesperson than me. I thought the guy might have been a lawyer or an account manager just based on his demeanor, his effective communication, all of that, just his eye contact, his sureness of himself. Come to find out, the guy was a custodian. He was a 5'1" custodian and managed to have 6 children with his wife. and the whole point of this live stream is that guys were telling me, oh, I'm too short because I'm 5'5", I'm 5'9", oh, I'm 5'11", I'm not 6'3". And I'm telling you about a 5'1" custodian with 6 children. Oh, and I didn't mention he had the thickest Middle Eastern accent because he immigrated from somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah. So not only is he facing difficulties of not being a citizen, or at least for some portion of his life, and having to assimilate into a different culture and having to pick up a completely new language, but he's also 5'1" and he's also working as a custodian, making, I imagine, not the most money. Yeah. So it's like, what could guys' excuses possibly be now after I've laid out a story like this? Yeah. I just feel as though people are trying to convince themselves that it's impossible because that's easier than just picking up your nuts and walking over to the girl. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. At this point, I'm just convinced that the excuse makers are just making excuses because it's easier to lie to themselves than it is to pick your fucking nuts up and walk over to the girl. Yeah, it's easier to introduce fabricated excuses than it is to walk over to the girl and say that you like her. And so they would rather marinate in these mental gymnastics of coming up with questions about percentages and coming up with their own obstacles, literally building their own walls in front of them and then saying, oh no, I've got an obstacle. I'm convinced that guys would rather spend time doing that than spend time doing the difficult work, which is walking over, which is going to the gym, which is looking people in the eye and saying good morning. Yeah, these things are too difficult for these guys, so they'd rather sit in the comment section. So that was the summary of the live, D1, just for you and you only. I appreciate you boys as always. I'll hop on soon, going for your approaches. There's no excuses because